Janet Markowski.
Hi, I'm Melanie Flaker.
And we are here for a special Yoga Chocolate Chit Chat episode. Sitting here thinking about what would our clients and community like to hear about. And Melanie says they'll want to talk about the mirror that's now gone from the studio. So the studio, we had left a mirror up all this time. Been here 7 years now. And we just covered it up with a curtain. And so recently I just said, you know what? We've been using the wall a lot for different things. And I've been wanting to use the wall a lot for different things. And every time we need to use the wall, we have to move clients. So if we got rid of that mirror, certain clients wouldn't have to, positions wouldn't have to move. So let's take this mirror down. So that's the first part of the story, is that we came to this conclusion. The second part is that the entire task fell here, here, and I have to give a little shout out to our client Michael, because he participated in doing a lot of the hardware portion of the mirror.
Yes. So a question would be, why don't you like the mirror? We kind of have a community here of clients that we all just like not having the mirror so that we have to keep looking at ourselves, right? And I find for my own practice, I want to be just on my mat, and I don't want to be constantly conscious of the fact that I could see myself in the mirror. So we always had a curtain over it. So if you're covering it, right, we can utilize some beautiful wall space.
For sure, because we do handstands, kick up on the wall. We do forearm stands, kick up at the wall. Sometimes we do different side plank at the wall, triangle at the wall. We use the wall a lot. So let's talk about the naysayers in our lives, right? So, and by naysayers, I mean the people close to us who I could entirely see. Most people would have been like, there's no way the two of you are moving these two slabs of mirror. The first slab was big enough for one person to pick up and carry, and it was a little heavy but manageable. But the second one was much, much wider.
Yeah.
So and it was heavy enough that me and her together could only pick it up for like a few seconds, 30 seconds at most, before we'd have to put it back down. Okay? And now, I don't give a shit if he's watching. We got zero help from the owner of said mirror, okay? Zero. And even when we expressed that we wanted to move it and it needed to be stored, not given away, not sold, no help transporting it, which is kind of mind-blowing to me, because if it belongs to you and you care about it, then you would be like, don't even touch it. I got this, because if you break it, I'll be mad.
And it's not, so let's just say it's been here since the 1970s.
There's that.
It's not, we're not talking about a vintage, like, we're just talking about a piece of mirror.
It's a mirror.
That's it. That was used for a dance studio, piece of mirror. It was nothing that you couldn't rebuy. It was...
So once we got the green light to move the mirror into storage, the storage was, I would say, would you say it's like 30 to 40 yards away from here?
At least. So he's the person that the owner of the building says, oh, you can put them in my garage. The garage is out the door, around the corner, in the back. And, okay. And then, I'm going to work now.
Peace.
See you later, girls.
Good luck. Don't break it. I'll watch for my blinds. I'm gonna watch for my blinds, because if you break, anyway.
Yeah.
So the troubleshooting began. I remember, because we had moved mirrors previously at one point, that we used a dolly. So I knew that we needed a dolly, and I knew that if anybody's gonna have something of a semblance to what we needed, it's my father. So we went to my dad's house, raided his garage and his yard until we found what was, he would pull the kids in it. It's a iron, it looks metal.
Like a
metal
metal almost
wagon.
like wagon.
Yeah, it's a wagon, but it's
But it was
all
big.
metal.
Yeah.
And it's, not a cute little radio flyer, a very industrial looking
Yes,
one. And
yes.
the good news was the sides came down, boop, 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 so that it would be a dolly flat. So ding, 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 we found how we were going to move it. But now I want you guys to consider something, right? So this is the dolly. This is the dolly flat. This is the mirror. We can't lay the mirror down. The mirror might not be able to hold the weight on all of the sides, and then it would crack. So we had to stand it up. So that means one person's pulling and holding the mirror, and the other person on the other side is holding the other end of the mirror. And now we have to navigate with the wagon, which we transformed into a dolly, out of the studio, around a couple corners, and then back it in. And by the end, I was glistening with sweat.
Ooh.
Melanie was
yes.
glistening with sweat.
And imagine, we didn't know that this is what we were doing.
No, that's true.
So, I had on like flip-flops. Janet had on platform sandals.
Wedges. Yeah,
and
platform.
so we did not plan that this
Right.
is what we were doing. So here we are in our inappropriate shoes. And we're managing to do this. And first, we had to lift this metal thing into the back of her car at her father's house to bring it over here.
Yeah.
And then take it out. So, but we figured it out. Two of us, 44, 63, we figured it out. We didn't need Mr. Landlord's help looking at us from the window. And it's been something that we've been wanting for a long time, and it was as easy as if he would have just told us we could put it in the garage in the back a while ago.
Would have been great. And I think it's important to say that the reason that we are as proud as we are is because there's this inner critic, right? We all have this inner voice. A lot of us have an inner voice that came from somewhere, didn't come from birth. It came from maybe somebody we came across in the world who made us feel like we're not good enough, or we're not going to be able to do something on our own, right? And so I want you to know that the voice was there, right? So these thoughts are going through that, like, something bad's going to happen, and then you're going to have to tell people, tell your husband, tell your dad, tell your brother, tell the community that, you know, you guys weren't able to do it, and that, you know, you can't figure this out. You couldn't possibly figure this out. You're not smart enough to figure this out. You guys aren't strong enough. You're women. You're women.
Yes, I think that's it. I think people, you know, you need a man to help you with that. You need a man. And listen, there's nothing against. Sometimes it's just too much for us to handle. We need someone who's a little bit stronger. But we were very resourceful in knowing what we needed. We needed something with wheels that we could roll this, because we knew we couldn't pick it up. So here we are at her dad's house, going through sheds, garages, the backyard. We found something with wheels, and we made it work.
And I'll also say this. I would never be like, oh, we didn't need men. Oh, this is
Right.
we don't need. No. I would have preferred that a man handle this situation because of the physical strength necessary to do it. And perhaps somebody that has a much greater knowledge, it doesn't even have to be a man, on how to move things around without breaking them. So I'm not like, you know, saying we don't need, you know, like it's not this, you know, we're greater than or whatever. It's just, it just happened to fall on our shoulders. We happen to be not the strongest around. I mean, we're strong, but we're not like industrial strong. This is kind of like a more commercial type activity, not something that wouldn't be expected to fall on
Right.
on our shoulders, right? That doesn't belong to me. That mirror didn't belong to me.
Right.
It's not mine. Why do I need to move it?
Right.
Like, how did that happen?
Right.
But okay.
But I guess what made us feel, I know what made me feel very empowered yesterday when we were done. Sweating bullets,
Yes.
tired, exhausted, needed like big time drinks. But what made me feel empowered was that as a team, we were able to figure it out. And listen, if we went through all of this and were not able to navigate it, we would have just said, okay, we can't navigate this. We have to wait.
For sure.
We have to wait
Absolutely.
for our husbands
Absolutely.
or to come and help us lift this. But we were able to navigate it, and we were like, I think we can make this work.
Right, we took it one step at a time. Before we decided to move even, I said, okay, let's just put the mirror on top of the dolly and hold it for a second and just see how we feel about this. Is this okay? Does it feel like it's too wobbly? It's too heavy? And she would have been honest. She would have said, honestly, there's no way I could go 50 yards holding this thing up, or me. It took incredible teamwork, communication, resourcefulness, and we were able to get it done, which, again, like she said, there are so many reasons. It's a reminder that you could come up with a million excuses as to why not to do something, but how many of those are reasons? How many of those are real reasons? Because real reasons would exist, real limitations would exist, but it's like how many of those are real, and how many of those are just in your mind because you're not problem solving. You're not problem solving because you're choosing not to problem solve, because you're choosing to say, I need something that rolls. Where can I find something that rolls? You know what I mean? It's like it's coming up with these solutions, and when you hit a wall, a real wall, then you go outside of that wall, but it's not an excuse to stop progress, right? So I think progress gets stopped so often in a lot of people's lives, even mine sometimes, because of imaginary walls.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think that we definitely knew that this was the task that we wanted to do, and we took it down, had a little bit of a wall because we didn't know what to do with it. So we had to wait.
That was the main
and
thing,
be patient for the landlord to tell us, did he want them now? Right? Did he want them, not want them? Could we store them someplace? And then once we knew that we had a place to store them, then it was kind of like, what's step 2 now? Step 2 is we need to get these out of here.
And if you don't want to be a part of the solution, then get out of the way.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not mad that somebody who didn't want to help didn't stick around. Don't stick around if you don't want to help. Just give me the green light to put it somewhere. Because if you don't want to help, it's fine.
Yeah.
Get out of the way then.
That's
right. It's like help or get out of the way.
Yeah. And
instead of standing over.
Well, that's what happens, right? Sometimes, like,
these are mounts.
Right? So, Janet and I know each other so well, and well enough to know that we're not gonna micromanage each other. We're gonna figure out a solution. And if she has a suggestion, I'm going to listen to her suggestion. I'm going to tell her I can do it, I can't do it, right? So we're not sabotaging each other before we even get there. So I think that's what happens sometimes, is I think there's a little bit of sabotage. What? You want to read that? Do you know how heavy those mirrors are? You can't possibly move those mirrors, right? So there's that little bit of the critic, the sabotager, that wants to say you can't do something before you even figure out, can I do that? Right? Like, can I? How do you know?
Let's take some steps.
Yes.
Let's take the first step and see what happens. Let's take the second step and see what happens. The third, the fourth. We don't need to go to step 7. We can start at step 1.
Yes.
And once we put the thing on and we showed proof of concept that we can move it comfortably without it breaking or falling.
Yes.
It's like, now proceed to step 2, 3, 4. But when, someone is so stuck on the fact that it's not going to happen, it can't happen, and you can't see that, like, what does it hurt to take one step?
Yes.
What
yes.
does it hurt to try
Right.
one step?
Right.
And then if that works, ooh, we keep going. But like
Yes.
she said, it's also having the humility and awareness within yourself to say when you know you've hit a real wall.
Right.
Not just I'm gonna do this no matter what. I don't care, you know, whether or not the mirror survives, right?
Right.
It's like, no, you know, being realistic about what there is an element of being real.
Of course.
Okay, of course. But it's also saying, can we make that a reality though, instead of just some imaginary ghost in our head that's gonna sit there and say this is what's gonna happen. We don't know that.
Yes. And I think that's part, all of that is just a part of growth too.
Yeah.
Right? Not doubting yourself and not always saying, yeah, no, I can't do that. No, I could never do that. How do you know you could never do that? How do you know?
Why are you counting yourself out
Yeah.
so fast? Why are you already eliminating yourself when you haven't have you given yourself a chance? And again, it's not saying I've tried it, I know it doesn't work. We
Right.
get that.
Right.
I'm for that.
Yes,
I understand
me
if
too.
it's like no, it's like that's all right, then fine. But if you're just counting it out immediately without considering step 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, then maybe it's possible, and you just haven't allowed yourself to believe that.
Yeah. It was a very, like I said, I kind of felt empowered.
It's beautiful.
And I also
gorgeous.
felt like, it just gave me a lot of, I felt very full, very like, I could do this. Like, this was awesome. Like, the two of us put our heads together, we got a solution, we made it better. And then when I came in this morning to teach and I look in that beautiful corner over there, it's so nice. And it gives you a whole sense of, wow, we did that. We made that look so
It's
awesome.
accomplishment.
Like, we made that look awesome with the
Yeah.
help of our dear friend
And
Michael.
watching people enjoy it is gonna, and like enjoying it in class and stuff.
Yes.
is like it's an accomplishment that keeps giving. It's just gonna keep giving.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So don't count yourself out, right?
No.
You can do things. Maybe you don't know you can do things, but you can do hard things.
Yes.
You can do hard things.
Even at 44 and 63.
Yes.
Yikes.
Yikes.
Lots of love.
Love you guys.